Well, Joe, tonight was our New Year's knockout.
You're right, PK.
Of course.
New Year's knockout. For once, you're right. Once again. I'll let you keep your job. Keep on going.
January 18th, 2014. And Joe, it was a good match. You know, first off, we were supposed to have Blaine versus Mystic Storm. But Mystic Storm did get injured, so he had to go to the other side of the galaxy to get medical treatment.
Oh, good gosh.
And so Blaine says, I can choose anybody I want. So, Joe, I was really excited. Wasabi's music comes on. I'm like, holy smokes, he's going to go against Wasabi. Now we're going to see a match. And who comes out?
Well, I'll tell you, came out Sushi. And I was so happy. I'll tell you something. Zach Blaine, he picked a sure deal. Just like anybody would if they were in Vegas. Because I'll tell you something, PK. When he came out there, he was given a choice of who he had to face for his championship. And he chose the guaranteed win. Of course, in my eyes, most people, for him, is a guaranteed win.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you something, though. Sushi Roll did put up a good fight. You know, he even did a hurricanrana.
Yeah, he got lucky, but it was a squash. And everybody knows it. He didn't have a prayer. He weighs less than my thigh, PK.
Well, Joe, he did get clotheslined by Zach Blaine, and Zach Blaine did pin him. And that was also the longest time the track star has ever stayed in the ring.
Oh, well, you stop it, PK, and he's not the track star. He is the shooting star, and don't you forget it, ditch diggers.
Well, Joe, then we had the sibling rivalry. Chad Zola versus his brother, Alex Diamond Decker.
That's right, PK.
I'll tell you something, Joe, it was an exciting match. I was looking forward to it. And, Joe, I'll tell you something. They went back and forth, and, you know, what was funny was Decker picked up a chain that he used to carry his dog out with and tried to hit Chad with it, and he does. Chad goes down, but then Chad was able to hit him with his fatal attraction maneuver and pin him for the count, ending the rivalry. Of course, his brother wouldn't shake his hand because, you know, Alex Diamond Decker, a.k.a. Chris Daughtry's looking angry brother.
It's competition, PK. And let's face it, Alex Diamond Decker, he gave Chad Silver the beating of his life, working on his bum knee. And I'll tell you something, if he had any brains, he'd retire or at least take a break.
Who would retire, Chad Silver?
Chad Silver.
Okay, just making sure, because I think Alex Diamond Decker probably should.
Oh, we shut up, PK. He's one of the best wrestlers we got out there. I know because I managed him.
Well, Joe, then we had the Devlins versus Disorderly Conduct, but the problem was CC's injured, so Matt Devlin was doing a handicap match against Cody McCauley, the Angry Beaver, and
Well,
PK.
you stop that, PK.
I thought that was his nickname. That's what the crowd chants.
Well, you know, the crowd doesn't know a darn thing. Just look at the work they do and look where they live. Well, I'll tell you something, PK. Matt, he did some pretty stupid moves in that match.
Hey, Joe, he was holding his own. Come on now, Joe. He was holding his own against those two. And then what happened was his dad gets wheeled out by Will Caution. He's in a wheelchair strapped down with a hood over him. So Frog, the referee, gets out, starts helping him. At that point, Will Caution comes in. The three of them attack Matt Devlin. They take him out with a triple team maneuver slam. And then what happened? They become the new tag team champions.
That's right, tag team champions. The belts right where they belong with true champions. And after that match, they continued to put the beat down on the Devlins.
Well, Joe, that is true. And then, you know, of course, you know, the Inc. as well made an appearance during that match. When they came out, you know, the Disorderly Conduct, they went ahead and fled like roaches when lights come on at your apartment.
What? Not at my palatial estate in Bel Air, California.
Yeah, the Bel Air Mobile Home Park in Mapleton. Right on.
Well, you shut up, PK.
Well, then, Joe, then we had, finally, Ninja King versus Wasabi. We are finally going to see the Ninja King in the ring by himself.
It was a great match, and I'll tell you something, he was doing a number on Wasabi.
Well, now, Joe, Wasabi was getting the best of him. Then all of a sudden, I looked in the match because, you know, they were on our side towards the end. The Ninja King pulls out this white powder from his boots and throws it into the face of Wasabi. And then, of course, you know, Wasabi goes down at that point.
Of course. Well, I'll tell you something, you know, there's no problem with that. He was just taking it to the next level, PK.
Well, Joe, you know, Wasabi was attacked by his three assistant ninjas. One of them took off with fried rice because Sushi Roll was still recovering, apparently, from his match from Zach Blaine, unfortunately. We hope he does well. And then the other two ninjas attacked him and held Wasabi while the Ninja King did some palm strikes, forcing his energy, or chi as they say, into the chest of Wasabi and unfortunately knocking him out. And then, to pour salt in the wound, he took Wasabi's mask.
That's right. Well, that's what you get.
But Joe Wasabi, being a good Boy Scout, was prepared, had a balaclava on, so we still don't know who Wasabi is or what he looks like.
Oh, gosh. Maybe he's just ugly. He just was taking precautions here so people wouldn't see his face.
Well, Joe, then we had Inc. versus White Trash. And I'll tell you something, Joe. White Trash held their own a lot better than I thought they would. I was pretty impressed.
Well, they got a few good moves in, but let's face it, they got themselves handed to themselves in a platter. Because I'll tell you something right now, PK, it was a squash. Inc. came in and they those two just took out White Trash like nothing.
Well, Joe, how it ended was Inc. did a death row drop on Jimmy Lee, and they were able to get the pin on him. And then the Devlins, because Matt Devlin was the guest referee, who pretty much called it down the middle the whole time. But then the Devlins went ahead and attacked them, and that's how that match unfortunately kind of wound down. And then they get in each other's faces, they challenge each other, so on and so forth.
Yeah, of course the Devlins couldn't get the job done. They even tried to sneak attack. They had Pearl Harbor inking, but they still wound up with their faces down on the mat.
Well, Joe, that is true. It all ended with poor Matt Devlin getting pile driven into the mat, and Ink King walked out. Hey, Joe, dude,
stupid Matt.
Hey, Joe, this guy gives up a lot of size to Ink King, and he'd already wrestled once and had refereed once. So, the guy was pretty busy.
Yeah, well, so I have no sympathy for that idiot.
Well, Joe, then we had the Sole Survivor match. Now, this is something that I've never seen anywhere in professional wrestling. It starts out as a 10-man tag, and then after it narrows it down to 4 men, then it's a fatal 4-way. Then it narrows it down to a triple threat submission match where you got to make whoever submits first loses. And then the last 2 have a standard match with the guest referee being the third guy that got eliminated in the triple threat part. That's Joe, we pretty much had the whole locker room out there. We had Brozilla, Will Caution, all the members of the show. We also had the tag team specialists. Alpha McFly came back from the future in order to wrestle.
Oh, will you stop that? Nobody's from the future.
Well, Joe, Alpha McFly he's told me some things about you, and I really am concerned.
Oh,
and of course, Jake Hughes. And then we had Curtis Coleman. He came out, and Cody McCulley was supposed to come out, but instead it was the commissioner.
That's right, Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker, that was his name. That's his wrestling name.
Yeah, the confused Scotsman.
And Joe, it was great. To start off, they're all going for it, and bodies were flying left and right. Then it came down to the fatal 4-way.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Then it came down to the triple threat part, and it was the show with 2 members. I should say 2 members of the show, Hollywood and Zach Blaine, with Alpha McFly.
And man, I tell you something, Zach Blaine. He and Mr. Hollywood, they fought tooth and nail. And Zach Blaine happened to get Mr. Hollywood with a submission.
Joe, you mean the pinky submission where it looks like you're going into a pinky promise?
Yeah, it really hurts,
and you make
man.
the guy tap? Joe, really?
Yeah, man, you ever work construction or anything? You had a hammer hit your pinky?
Joe, you've never worked construction, so why are you asking me?
Yes, I have. Let's get on with the match. But the point is...
Legos don't count as construction, Joe.
Will you shut up, PK?
Well, anyway, so, Hollywood does tap out, so now he becomes the special guest referee. And so now it's McFly versus Blaine. And Joe, I'll tell you something, that was just a setup from the word go.
It wasn't a setup.
Okay,
They call it fair and balanced, right down the middle, impartial. I don't care what you say or what kind of spin you try and throw on this.
Joe, Hollywood was hardly Fox News being fair and balanced. I'll tell you something. His counts for when McFly was on top, his counts were. But then when Zach Blaine was on top, it was like Thumper and Bambi saying, "That's why I thump."
Oh, well, let's just face it. Zach Blaine was the better man, and he got the victory. Hands down, W's a W, and there you go.
Joe, you are right. Zach Blaine did get the win, but we also, during the course of this match, had a championship change. The 24/7 championship. Remember that?
Yes, finally.
Will Caution pinned Alpha McFly on the ramp, on the entry ramp.
That's right.
And when he pinned him, he did win the 24/7 champion. So not only did we have a tag team championship change with disorderly conduct becoming the tag team champions, but then we also had, Will Caution becoming the 24/7 champion. So basically, disorderly conduct, you could say, is a stable of champions at this point.
And what did I tell you?
What did you tell me?
They are up and coming. They're the future. They are future OSWA Hall of Famers.
I wonder if they'll still be in the future in 2069. I'll have to ask McFly when I see him.
Stop it, PK. Nobody's been from 2069 or whatever.
Well, Joe, then we had our final match, which was Z versus Taco. And man, I'll tell you something. Z, unfortunately, a couple of his squires have been kidnapped and being tortured. That was in the back of his mind.
I think it was Taco Grind.
And he even said, nobody tortures my squires except me. So I thought that was an interesting line because I don't see that as a very good business plan.
Oh, maybe he's just good with disciplining those who are not obeying his orders.
Wow, Joe, disciplining versus torture, that's interesting. I'm sure the Geneva Convention would like to address that and describe to you the difference. Anyways,
please.
But Joe, the bottom line is he hit Taco with a final nail, and that was the end of Taco's reign as Ultimate Champion.
I told you it was a fluke.
Well, then Z becomes a two-time now Ultimate Champion. Well, he starts beating up on Taco. Totally uncalled for.
It's a victory lap.
No, it's a victory lap. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then all of a sudden, who comes running in? Chad Silva. And Chad Silva cashes in his golden ticket.
Yeah, of course. He waits till the Mighty Z is beat down, and then he takes advantage of him by cashing in the golden ticket when he's tired from his last match. Of course, Chad Silva would do it that way.
Well, Joe, when Mr. Hollywood cashed in his golden ticket, you didn't think that was bad.
He's a very noble man.
But it was under kind of the same conditions.
What? You know, you're see, that doesn't matter. Today's today.
Oh, okay, okay.
The present's the present.
Okay, so the rules start right now, is what you're saying.
No, it started with their last match.
Oh, okay, start with the last match. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyways, so he comes in and basically challenges Z because he's tired of seeing him beat up on Taco. He hits him with a final verse, and who becomes our new champion?
Do you really want me to say it?
I want you to say it.
Our new paper ultimate champion, Chad Silva.
Well, Joe, I find it interesting that you call him the paper ultimate champion because we've got Chad Silva in the green room and we're going to interview him right now.
Yeah, I got some few questions I want to ask him.
I want you to refer to him as the paper ultimate champion to his face.
Oh, will you stop it, PK?
Mr. Silva, congratulations on your victory, by the way. That was awesome.
Yeah, congratulations. Would you like to shake my hand? Let me ask you, why did you choose now? Why did you wait until the Mighty Z had already fought a match?
Why did I wait? I told you once, and I've told it 1,000 times, I'm sick of Z picking on everybody in that locker room. And since he had so much energy, you know, to take down Taco after the match, I just, why not? You know? He got so much energy, why not pick on somebody his own size?
Why didn't you wait till Heroes versus Villains or an event like that where he was good and ready?
Why did I wait?
Why didn't you wait?
Why didn't I wait?
Yeah, until like, you know, it would have been a fair match.
Does this answer your question?
Well, let me ask you this. Now that you have this championship, you now have a target on you. That whole locker room is going to be going after you, and they are going to no longer be your friends. They're going to be your foes. What do you got to say about that?
I'm taking on all comers. All comers. But don't think that I'm going to lay down and give you this title.
Well, Chad, I'll tell you something. Congratulations. Joe, was there any kind of reference that you wanted to make to Mr. Silva to his face?
Oh, will you stop it, PK? So he's the ultimate champion. I get it.
Okay. Well,
it says so on paper.
Well, Mr. Silva, congratulations
Thank
again.
you.
I'm very proud of you. You deserve it. You've been in the O for a long time. You are a great tag team competitor. You are a great singles competitor, and man, it has all finally paid off for you. I wish you nothing but the best, and I think you'll carry that belt well.
Well, yeah, so EPF. What? Can you see? That is disrespectful, PK. And I'll tell you something. I can't wait until Zach Blaine takes on Chad Silva.
I'm sure he won't. Anyways, well, Joe, I'll tell you something. I'm really looking forward to this. I'll tell you something, Joe. The O is just the OSWA, the O, whatever you want to call it. It's just going forward. I mean, man, all these title changes tonight. Tag team, Ultimate Champion, 24/7 Champion. I mean, just all these title changes, it just goes to show you how fluid this is. And I'll tell you something, fans, if you ever miss one of our shows, please catch our recaps. And I'll tell you something, you can catch it on OSWAentertainment.com, Facebook.com/OSWA Entertainment, and of course, OSWA Entertainment on YouTube.
Absolutely, PK. So I'll tell you why, because we're the best. And even you and all those other ditch diggers out there will agree with me.
Well, Joe, it was a pleasure once again. It's been a little over a year now that we've been doing this, and I'd like to thank our fans, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.